My God's good.
Yeah.
I'm thankful this morning that I've been washed in that blood of the Lamb. That I can walk and not be in bondage. That I can walk and not be in chains. That I can walk and not be in the past. All my sins are forgiven, amen. He's so good. He's so good. You got your Bibles, we'll turn for just a few minutes this morning. I want to turn over to Revelation chapter 3. And we're going to look today a friend at the door. A friend that's at the door. And you know, this is a familiar passage, one that most of us have heard all of our lives, one that we've experienced through the years, through Bible school, through Sunday school, through messages from pastors, evangelists. And you know, as I said earlier, I had listened to this song that Jason Crabb had sung, "You chose to be my friend." And I began to think about Jesus as the friend, greater than any friend that we could ever have in this world. And he speaks many times throughout the Word, about the friend that he is. Over in Proverbs, we read in chapter 18, verse 24 of Proverbs, where it says, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother." Who is that? It's Jesus. He's closer than a brother. I've got a brother here today that I know if I called him, he'd do anything possible that he could for me. If I called him 3 o'clock in the morning and said, "Listen, brother, I need help," he'd come to me. I'd do the same thing. But the Word speaks of this friend that's closer than any brother that we could have. This friend who's at the door. And over in Revelation chapter 3, verse 20, this is Jesus speaking when he begins to speak about who he is and what he's doing here. And he says in verse 20 of Revelation chapter 3, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me." Jesus makes it clear here. He says he's standing at your door today. He's standing very present at our door. And the key word here is a small word with just 2 letters in it. And it's the word if. If any man hear my voice, and let's plug this in, and if he will open the door, I will come into him and I will sup with him and he with me. This big word if, 2 little letters. If we looked up the definition of the word if, we would find that it is a condition, a requirement, or a stipulation. It is defined as when or whenever, supposing that. There's no if about Jesus being there. The if is on our side of the fence. It's not if Jesus will show up. It's not if Jesus would come. It's not if Jesus would consider me. Because that's not the situation. He's standing at your door today. And the if is in our court. If we will open the door and let him in, he will sup with us and we with him. He's standing at the door. Brother Glenn, show that picture. There's a picture that I remember this early in my lifetime. I've seen this picture of Jesus many times in Bibles. And this goes back, when I saw this, I thought, man, I remember that it's just a small boy. And you see a depiction of Jesus knocking on a door. And if you look at the door, there's something that is missing. What is it? A doorknob. There's a doorknob that is missing. So for the door to be open, it must be open from the inside, not from the outside. So Jesus is depicted here as knocking on the door, and if any man will open, he will come on in. Opening the door changes everything. When you open the door, it changes everything for you. I thought about, as I prepared this, I began to think about people going door to door. It's not as much as it once was. You'll see a few people knock on the door maybe. But there seemed to be a time in our world where there were a lot of door-to-door salesmen.